What are some ways that someone starting the recruiting process can get exposure from college coaches?
I remember my parents and I sitting down and watching film. Started off with just buying a camera. We're just like, okay, we're gonna record this. We watched a bunch of film. My dad started making videos for me. And make the videos, you want to show them your skills. You also want to give them game footage because that's kind of, they don't want to just say what you're good at. They just kind of want to see how you play, how you interact with your own team and your coaches and things like that. Sending them directly instead of just like, I mean, you can put them on YouTube for things like that, but just be like, here's my link, like, would you watch this and let me know what you think. But yeah, definitely reaching out to them, letting them know you're interested.
Do you email them, or do you think parents should step in, or do you think it's more of players taking the initiative?
I think it should definitely be the players. I mean, your parents could have like a say on like where they think they want you to go, but you're in the end the one going there, so you want to be the one talking to them. Then you want to show them your personality. You want to get to know them. So I think your parents are okay with like stepping in, but I think most of it should be from you.
What are ways that an athlete can make sure a college coach is able to see you play live?
I think it's huge to play on club teams and teams that travel, just to get that kind of exposure and to also play with people that want that too. So you're on a competitive team, you play competitive teams, so trying out for like all region teams or just club teams and getting to go to those big tournaments and things like that will give you exposure and for all these coaches to come watch you.
What are ways that an athlete can do while they're playing, so when a coach is walking by they want to stop and watch you?
They're going to watch you if you're a good player, but they also want to see like how you interact with your team, if you're coachable, like just kind of like your composure on the court. So I think it's important to be like all around, even if you're having a good or bad game, just to focus on those things. So
being talkative, being loud, try to make your voice stand out in the loud convention centers. Absolutely. And then I think it's also just important sending a coach a schedule. Let them know where you're going to be, what games you'll be playing, where, what court, etc. Now, did you attend any camps in college to make sure those college coaches could watch you play and be able to coach you actually in camp?
When I kind of figured out like where I was interested in, I went to all the camps. And I wanted to see how they were going to coach and how they interacted with their players and just how the team like interacted with each other. So camps and just getting there and kind of seeing the campus and the gyms and all that is really important.
So picking a school, you obviously want to make sure it's a good fit. Did you do any research prior to making visits, or what exactly did you look for before going to an unofficial or an official visit?
I remember looking at like their social media accounts, things like that. I would go to their website and look up like just history, like big wins they've had or like how they've done in recent seasons and just things about the coach and all that kind of stuff. I think it's important to look into that because these coaches want to know that you are that interested and you can come and see them and have questions and tell them like, oh, I already knew that because I've been looking at all this stuff up. So
yeah, and do you ask any questions based on the research to make sure that college coach knows that you're actually looking into their history and that you are interested?
Yeah, I think that's really important because I think they like to know that you are like interested in what happened previously and that you want to come in and make a difference and make the program better.
Did you look into the schools just to make sure that that's something you'd be interested in? They have your major, you like the location, that type of stuff?
You might not know where you want to go, but I think liking the campus and the city you're in and just the location of it is really good. And if you know what you want to go to school for, which I didn't at the time, but that is very important too because being a student athlete is a lot about being a student, so having the major and everything is very important also.
Did you always know you wanted to go to a big school when you committed to UK?
I mean, I knew I wanted to go Division I, and at first I didn't know how big of a Division I school I wanted to go to, if that makes sense. You don't want to like go to a campus and just feel like lost and like not. Yeah. And you want to make it, you want to know that you're like, feels like a home. Because if the place is too big, it's just kind of, you feel like you're like getting swallowed by it and you just.
And it's also important to understand like the class sizes are going to be bigger, or if you go to a smaller school, it's going to be smaller class sizes. What's the biggest class that you've had at UK?
I probably had a lecture of about 300-ish. Those are, it's interesting. You just go in there and there's so many people and you got to know that you're not really going to get like the
one-on-one
attention to the teacher unless you reach out and do that.
What type of relationships do you think it's important to build with when you're being recruited and going to all these different visits?
I mean, you obviously want a good one with the coach, and that starts like from the beginning, like if you're emailing them or calling them and reaching out to them. But you also want to think about the team, like the girls that you're going to be with, even though some would be graduating, but you want to build a relationship with them. Also people like your academic advisor because they are very important. They help you through a lot. People like the strength coaches and just really anyone you come encounter with, because you want to feel like you have people here that you can lean on, and they're all here to help you. So
yeah, and you're with them the most, so you obviously want to make sure that you are comfortable with them
yes.
before you even get started. When you went on different visits before you chose the schools that you wanted to visit, did you have an idea of what you thought you wanted, and then when you made a decision, was that different?
When I started looking, I thought I wanted to stay close to home, so I looked at the bigger schools in Wisconsin, and I liked them. They just didn't really feel right, so I was like, okay, I'm going to keep looking. Kentucky, I found that I had something from them, and I reached out to them and set up a visit, and I really didn't think I wanted to be that far away from home and be somewhere that big, but it kind of just, I got there and everything felt right, and so it was a big surprise to me because I did not think that that was the place I was going to end up at.
So going out of your comfort zone is important, and I mean, you may have found something that you liked or didn't like, so it's good to visit multiple schools to see almost different perspectives and how one program is run versus another.
Yeah, because I think when I went to the two in Wisconsin, they were great programs, and I might have wanted something bigger. Maybe that's what I was missing, and then when I came here, they kind of just hit me, and I was
knew it was the right choice.
Yeah,
absolutely. During your visits, did you take notes, or was there anything in particular that you did to make sure that when you left, you remembered everything that you liked or didn't like?
I remember she was a senior when I was a freshman in high school, and she was going through this, and she told me that she always would like write things down afterwards and just like write what she liked and didn't like, just because if you're going on a lot of visits and meeting a lot of coaches and people, that it's kind of hard to keep who was where like straight. So I definitely did that. I kind of wrote down like what I liked and what was kind of questionable for each school, and it really helped me when I was like sitting down and picking where I wanted to go.
I think the biggest thing with recruiting is knowing what's right for you and what's the best fit is for you, and like we just talked about, going to different things, so it's important to be honest with yourself. Do you think there's a tip that you can give to athletes in high school that are recruiting to really choose what is best for them?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very important to know like what level you want to play at, because it's a really big transition. No matter what size college you're going from high school to college, it will
always be a transition.
Yeah, it's huge. So knowing that, and just knowing if you can take being really far away from your family or just things like that, I think it's knowing that you're going to like it there, and that can come with like asking questions and everything. Like, you don't want to leave a visit and be like, oh, what if, like, what is this? What am I doing here? Like, you want to know everything, and I think that helps, and I think that kind of makes you feel comfortable with everything.
Yeah.
So
personally, for me, I wanted to stay close to home, so that was huge on my list. So I'm from Northern Kentucky, so being an hour away wasn't bad, and was the huge reason why I did choose UK. Were there any specific questions that you took to every college visit, just to make sure you had answered to help you make a decision?
What they do to like just take care of them, and every school is going to take care of their athletes and like the people that are there, but just kind of like what their program expects and like what it's going to be about, and just so I can get an idea of what I would be getting into if I were to go there.
Along with the research, having a list of questions just so that you're really interested is very important. Now, off the court, I mean, your volleyball skills are the number reason why you get recruited, but like to get that scholarship to be able to go to the school that you want to go to, it's important to be a well-rounded, not just a volleyball player, but academically. And what are some of the other ways that college coaches look for you as a student athlete in order to recruit you?
Yeah, I mean, doing good in school in high school is huge, because you could be a great athlete and they can like see your grades and just not be interested, because getting to college and performing in school is also really important. I know we always have like our team really takes pride in that when we do good. If you're not doing good in school, you really can't do good on the court, because you have to keep both of them up. So they look at like your social media accounts and things like that, and you just want to make sure you're kind of like making yourself look good on that too, just because you want to be a well-rounded person for the university. They want to like promote you as that. They want to coach people like that. So
yeah, and that could be your first impression a lot of times for college coaches. They don't get the chance to see you yet, but they see your emails, they see your video, they're interested, they want to go to social media and try to get a view of what type of person you are. So it's important to represent yourself. And I guess in college, you still have to make sure that you're still representing the university. Are there specific tips on how you keep your social media a good representation of UK?
You still want to make it you, because you don't want to like completely change. I know like a lot of girls on our team will post about like volleyball and just being excited about getting back in season, even if it's not. You want to like just show that you like the university and you enjoy what you're doing, and things like that. So
yeah, promoting games and showing that you're working in the off season as well at 5 a.m. workouts.
Yes, you want to just keep an eye out, not post anything that would just be questionable, because you don't want that to ruin your one chance of getting like this once in a lifetime opportunity. So.
Now, after you committed, did you contact the other schools that you were visiting just to make sure that you still had a good, I guess, representation of yourself once you did commit?
Yeah, I remember I was so nervous to call when I finally made my decision, but I called the other 2 schools before I came to Kentucky, and I just told them, thank you for the offer, thanks for the interest, but I've chosen to go somewhere else. And they were understandable. They wished me the best. You don't want to just leave them hanging, and then just all of a sudden they see you're going somewhere. So yeah, they showed interest in you. They wanted you, so you just have to thank them for what they did for you.
Yeah. What ways did you prepare yourself for the college level after you committed? You obviously have to stay motivated, keep working even harder maybe than you were. So what did you feel like you prepared yourself well with?
I remember being in the gym more than I was. I mean, I liked being in the gym a lot when I was in high school, but I would suggest going to like bigger tournaments, playing like teams that have girls on it that are also going Division I and things like that. I worked on a lot of volleyball, but when I got here I was like, it's not just that. I probably should have worked on like lifting and things like that more.
Now, once you did commit as well, did you still have the relationships building with the coaches and the players and that type of stuff? Yeah,
I think throughout your 4 years you get more comfortable with the coaches. You can tell them what you're feeling, and like even things that aren't about volleyball. And then you get a new team each year too, so it's important to like continue to build relationships with the new freshmen and things like that. But yeah, I think you get just more and more comfortable with the people you're with, because you're with them all the time and you have the same vision. You all want to do good. You want to make the program better. So things like that.
Now that you're on UK's team, when you have a lot of recruits come in, is there do you ever put themselves in their shoes and try to reach out or answer questions that they want to ask but are a little nervous too?
Yeah, every time they come in, I remember how I was when I was being recruited, and yeah, I think it's important just to make them feel comfortable, make them just know that we're the same. If you want to come here, we're gonna be here to make you better. We want you to come here. We want the talent. And I know every program recruits a certain type of person, and you just want to make them know that they'll be very welcome here.
I remember when you came to visit at UK, so it's funny that we're here now.